Beginning a journey through the world's most fascinating bridges is an invitation to step into a realm where engineering meets history, creativity, and the human desire to build connections that endure over time. Some began as purely functional structures and eventually became icons. Others were born from modern ambition and the urge to surprise. This selection brings together bridges that span centuries, cultures, and architectural styles. And as we move forward, tell us which country you're watching from, because this journey is even more enjoyable when we know who's traveling with us. Let's begin. Number 13. 7 Mile Bridge, United States. In the Florida Keys stretches the 7 Mile Bridge, one of the most iconic bridges in the United States. With more than 10 kilometers spanning turquoise waters, its straight, minimalist design creates the sensation of moving while suspended in the middle of the ocean. It was built in the 1980s to replace the original railway viaduct, whose structure still stands alongside it today as a pedestrian walkway and a visible reminder of its history. The current bridge is engineered to withstand extreme conditions, hurricanes, heavy swells, and winds that could compromise most conventional infrastructure. For this reason, it relies on reinforced concrete and deep-set columns specifically designed to endure the region's constantly changing climate. That combination of modern engineering, visible history, and a seemingly endless natural setting turns the 7 Mile Bridge into a place that does more than connect islands. It has become a defining symbol of Florida's coastal landscape. Number 12. Nanpu Bridge, China. In Shanghai, we find one of the world's most recognizable bridges, the Nanpu Bridge, famous for its spiral ramp that looks like a massive concrete whirlpool when viewed from above. Opened in 1991, it was one of the first major modern infrastructure projects built after China's economic opening. Created to efficiently connect both sides of the Huangpu River without overwhelming the city center. The iconic spiral is more than a striking visual feature. It was designed to allow vehicles to ascend smoothly to the main deck while occupying minimal space in a densely populated area. Its cable-stayed structure, supported by a tower rising more than 150 meters, symbolizes the city's rapid industrial and architectural growth. At night, the bridge's lighting and constant flow of traffic form a hypnotic circular pattern, making it one of Shanghai's most photographed landmarks. The Nanpu Bridge shows how a practical solution can evolve into a globally admired urban icon. Number 11. Pont du Gard, France. We travel to southern France to encounter one of the most extraordinary ancient structures still standing today. Built in the 1st century, the Pont du Gard was part of a more than 50-kilometer aqueduct system that carried water to the city of Nemausus, modern-day Nîmes. What makes it even more remarkable is that no mortar was used. Each stone block, some weighing several tons, was placed with a precision that continues to astonish engineers. The upper channel, where the water flowed, had a total slope of just 34 centimeters across the entire length of the system. That accuracy allowed water to move gently over long distances without any mechanical assistance. Today, its three-tiered silhouette rising above the Gardon River still conveys the grandeur of Roman engineering. It is such a solid structure that if someone claimed it could still be used, it would be easy to believe. Number 10. Chain Bridge, Hungary. From France, we move to Budapest, where the chain bridge became the ultimate symbol of unity between Buda and Pest. Opened in 1849, it was the first permanent bridge over the Danube, and its construction permanently transformed life in the city. Designed by British engineer William Tierney Clark, it was considered one of the greatest technical achievements of the 19th century. Massive iron chains, stone towers, and an imposing presence that still dominates the cityscape. One of its best-known facts is that it was destroyed during World War II before the German retreat. What we see today is a reconstruction inaugurated exactly 100 years later in 1949. Though rebuilt, it retains its most distinctive elements, including the famous lions guarding each end. At night, reflected in the Danube, it remains one of Europe's most elegant city views. Number 9. Ponte Vecchio, Italy. From Budapest, we travel to Florence, where the Ponte Vecchio offers a scene that feels frozen in time. First mentioned in the year 996, it survived fires, floods, and multiple reconstructions to become what it is today. It is a lived-in bridge, filled with small shops that define its unique character. Originally, these spaces were occupied by butchers who threw their waste directly into the Arno River. In the 15th century, Duke Ferdinando I de' Medici ordered them replaced with jewelers to elevate the bridge's prestige, establishing a tradition that continues today. Another well-known fact is that it was the only bridge in Florence not destroyed by the Nazis during the war. It is said that Hitler himself ordered it preserved because of its historical value. The result is one of Italy's most picturesque places, a bridge where daily life, history, and art literally coexist on every arch. Number 8. New River Gorge Bridge, United States. We now move to West Virginia, where the New River Gorge Bridge has become a true icon of American engineering. Opened in 1977, this massive steel arch reduced a journey that once took nearly an hour to just a few minutes. Rising more than 260 meters above the river, it is one of the tallest bridges in the country and offers spectacular views of the New River and the surrounding forests. Each year, it hosts the famous Bridge Day, when thousands of visitors gather to watch base jumping and extreme activities from its structure, making it well known even beyond engineering circles. Its combination of scale, efficiency, and connection to the natural landscape makes it a defining structure for the entire region. Number 7. Seri Wawasan Bridge, Malaysia. From harsh winters, we move to a structure that looks straight out of the future. The Seri Wawasan Bridge in Putrajaya. This cable-stayed bridge stands out for its asymmetrical design, resembling a tensioned sail rising above the water. It is one of the city's main symbols, in a capital planned from scratch as a modern administrative center. At night, the bridge is illuminated with changing lights, making it a constant attraction for photography and video. Its angled cables and mast rising more than 70 meters create a sense of lightness, as if the structure were floating. The design aimed to balance the sobriety of the surrounding government buildings, and it ultimately became one of the most photographed bridges in Southeast Asia. Number 6. Hålogaland Bridge, Norway. We travel to the far north of Europe to encounter the Hålogaland Bridge, one of Norway's most impressive engineering achievements, and, at the same time, one of the most harmoniously integrated into its surroundings. Located near the Arctic Circle, this bridge doesn't just connect 2 points, it crosses a landscape that feels almost unreal. Steep mountains, deep and silent waters, and, during certain times of the year, the natural spectacle of the northern lights illuminating the sky. Opened in 2018, the Hålogaland Bridge stretches approximately 1.5 kilometers. making it one of the longest suspension bridges in Europe. Yet its greatness lies not only in its size, but in how it was conceived. From the start, engineers sought to minimize its visual impact on the landscape, opting for a clean, restrained design with just two main towers and elegant lines that interact with nature rather than overpower it. Construction was not easy. The team faced strong winds, sub-zero temperatures, and complex terrain typical of such an extreme region. Even so, the project advanced with precision and was completed ahead of schedule. Today, those who cross it are not only using a vital regional link, they are experiencing a modern structure that proves engineering can be powerful, efficient, and deeply respectful of the natural environment around it. Number 5. Vasco da Gama Bridge, Portugal. We now arrive in Lisbon to encounter one of Europe's most impressive infrastructure projects. The Vasco da Gama Bridge stretches more than 12 kilometers across the Tagus River estuary, drawing a continuous line that seems to fade into the horizon. Despite its immense scale, its design conveys a surprising sense of lightness and balance. Opened in 1998, coinciding with the World Expo held in the Portuguese capital, its construction represented one of the country's greatest engineering challenges. The Tagus estuary has soft, complex soils, requiring advanced technical solutions to ensure the structure's stability. Nothing was left to chance. One of the bridge's most notable features is its preparation for major earthquakes. Portugal knows well the power of seismic forces, and for that reason, the Vasco da Gama Bridge was designed to withstand extreme movements. Its pillars extend dozens of meters beneath the estuary floor, anchoring the structure firmly against traffic loads and environmental pressure. Beyond its practical function, the bridge has become a special place for those who cross it slowly. At sunrise, light reflects off the water and wraps the structure in soft tones, making the bridge feel endless. In those moments, more than an engineering work, the Vasco da Gama feels like a suspended path between the city, the river, and the sky. Number 4. Rakotzbrücke, Germany. We change scenery to enter one of Europe's most singular and evocative bridges. The Rakotzbrücke hides among the vegetation of Millau Park and impresses not by its size or practical use, but by the almost unreal sensation it creates. At first glance, it feels as if it doesn't fully belong to the everyday world, as though it were placed there to challenge perception. Built in the 19th century as a purely decorative structure, it was never meant for regular crossing, but for contemplation. Its stone arch was carefully designed to achieve such precise symmetry that, when the lake's water is still, the reflection completes a perfect circle. That brief, silent moment transforms the landscape into a hypnotic image that feels frozen in time. Unsurprisingly, the Rakotzbrücke became linked to European folklore. Stories speak of impossible challenges and constructions achieved only with supernatural help. Legends born from the awe inspired by such exact and harmonious form. Today, crossing it is forbidden to protect the structure, but that has only increased its allure. It has become a place for quiet observation, where beauty emerges without movement. It proves that a small, silent, and seemingly simple structure can leave a lasting impression on anyone who beholds it. Number 3. Veluwemeer Aqueduct, Netherlands. We return to modern engineering with a structure that, at first glance, seems to defy logic. At the Veluwemeer Aqueduct, something unusual happens. Instead of cars crossing over water, water flows calmly over the cars. This role reversal turns an everyday scene into something unexpected and almost surprising for first-time viewers. Opened in 2002, the aqueduct allows small boats to pass uninterrupted above a road that continues operating normally below. There are no moving barriers, no waiting times, and no visible mechanisms disrupting the flow. Everything happens continuously and quietly, as if it had always been that way. Although modest in length, just about 25 meters, the structure is designed to support hundreds of tons of water. Solid retaining walls and precise waterproofing systems keep the channels stable, safe, and perfectly integrated into the environment. Nothing feels excessive. Nothing is out of place. One of its most interesting aspects is that maintenance is simpler than that of a traditional drawbridge. This reduces costs, avoids traffic disruptions, and shows that sometimes the smartest solution isn't the most spectacular, but the clearest. The Veluwemeer Aqueduct reflects the Dutch mindset toward water. Understanding it, living with it, and making it a natural part of everyday life. Here, engineering doesn't seek to dominate, but to solve calmly and creatively a challenge that elsewhere might seem impossible. Number 2. Forth Bridge, Scotland. The Forth Bridge is not just a railway bridge, it is a constant presence in Scotland's landscape and memory. Since its opening in 1890, this massive steel structure has crossed the Firth of Forth with a confidence that remains impressive today. Its cantilever design, bold for its time, broke with many traditional engineering ideas of the 19th century and marked a turning point in large bridge construction. More than 53,000 tons of steel and millions of rivets were used, each placed by hand, at a time when every decision depended equally on calculation and direct experience. For decades, it was the longest bridge of its kind in the world, making it a reference point for engineers worldwide. Its unmistakable red color is not just an aesthetic choice, but part of its identity. There is even a popular saying that by the time painters finish the last section, it's already time to start again at the first. That idea perfectly captures its scale and the ongoing dedication required to maintain it. More than a century later, the Forth Bridge still fulfills its original purpose. Every day, trains cross it just as generations have before, proving that good engineering doesn't age, it adapts. That's why, rather than a historical relic, this bridge remains a living structure and one of the world's great railway masterpieces. Number 1. Øresund Bridge, Denmark to Sweden. We reach the final stop with a structure that perfectly captures the ambition and creativity of European engineering. The Øresund is not just a bridge, it is an experience of transition. It connects Copenhagen and Malmö in such an unconventional way that crossing it feels more like a cinematic sequence than everyday infrastructure. The journey begins over the sea with a bridge nearly 8 kilometers long that moves calmly between sky and water. The sensation is one of floating, with an open horizon and a landscape that slowly transforms. But just when it seems the journey will continue unchanged, something unexpected happens. The road disappears. There is no sharp turn or visual break. It simply fades into the artificial island of Peberholm, where the route descends and continues as a tunnel beneath the sea. This hybrid solution, bridge and tunnel, was not an aesthetic choice, but an intelligent response to environmental needs. It allows ships and aircraft to pass freely, maintaining a delicate balance between human mobility and natural activity. Peberholm, created solely as a technical transition point, became an unexpected living laboratory. Without landscape planning or constant intervention, plants, birds, and various species colonized the island on their own, forming a unique ecosystem. The Øresund doesn't just connect two countries. It connects ideas, solutions, and different ways of understanding engineering. It doesn't impose itself, it integrates. And that is why it has become one of the most admired and recognizable symbols of Northern Europe. Golden Gate Bridge, United States. At first glance, the Golden Gate Bridge feels familiar, almost too familiar. It appears in films, postcards, and photographs so often that it's easy to forget how extreme this structure truly is. Spanning the narrow entrance between San Francisco Bay and the Pacific Ocean, the bridge rises through fog, wind, and shifting tides. When construction began in the 1930s, many believed it couldn't be done. The currents were strong, the water was deep, and the winds were unpredictable. Yet the bridge took shape, piece by piece, suspended over open water. What makes the Golden Gate special isn't just its size or its unmistakable red color. It's the way it lives with its environment. Fog rolls in without warning, wrapping the towers until they vanish. Sunlight breaks through, revealing cables stretching like fine lines across the sky. The bridge never looks exactly the same twice. For those who cross it on foot, the experience is slow and immersive. The sound of traffic mixes with the wind, and the city slowly recedes behind you. Below, the water moves endlessly, reminding you how exposed this crossing really is. Over time, the Golden Gate Bridge became more than infrastructure. It became a symbol of resilience, ambition, and trust in engineering at a moment when the country needed confidence. Even today, it feels less like a shortcut and more like a passage, one that connects land, ocean, and human determination in a single continuous line. Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge often surprises people who see it up close for the first time. From a distance, it looks ancient, almost medieval. But in reality, it's a product of the late 19th century, built during a time when London was rapidly expanding and struggling to balance tradition with modern needs. The bridge was designed to solve a very practical problem: how to allow ships to reach the busy docks upstream without blocking road traffic across the Thames. The solution was bold. Massive bascules, movable road sections, could lift to let tall vessels pass, while pedestrians and carts continued above on elevated walkways. Watching Tower Bridge open is still a small event. Traffic stops. The river takes control. Slowly, the road splits in two and rises, revealing the mechanical heart of the structure. Even in a modern city, that pause feels meaningful, as if London briefly remembers its relationship with the water. From the walkways, the view stretches across the city's layers: historic stone, glass towers, narrow streets, and wide river bends. The bridge doesn't dominate the skyline, it frames it. Tower Bridge works because it respects its setting. It doesn't try to outshine nearby landmarks. Instead, it fits into London's rhythm. Over a century later, it remains both functional and symbolic, reminding us that good engineering can adapt without losing its character. Millau Viaduct. Crossing the Millau Viaduct feels almost unreal. The road doesn't hug the valley or follow the river below, it floats above it. Located in southern France, the viaduct spans the Tarn Valley, with slender pillars that rise higher than the Eiffel Tower. Yet despite its scale, the structure feels light. From a distance, it almost disappears into the sky, especially on days when clouds drift between the towers. The goal was simple but ambitious: relieve traffic congestion in the town of Millau without damaging the surrounding landscape. Instead of carving through the valley, engineers chose to pass over it, minimizing disruption below. Driving across the viaduct is a quiet experience. There's no sense of speed, no dramatic curves, just open space and air on all sides. The valley unfolds beneath you, far enough away to feel calm rather than intimidating. What makes the Millau Viaduct remarkable is its restraint. It doesn't compete with the landscape, it complements it. Every line is clean, every support placed with intention. More than a shortcut, the bridge became a new way of seeing the region. It proves that modern infrastructure can be both efficient and respectful. Powerful, yet subtle. In Millau, engineering didn't conquer nature, it learned how to move lightly above it. And with that, we conclude this journey through some of the world's most fascinating bridges. From historic structures carrying centuries of tradition to modern marvels that push the limits of engineering. Each one shows how human creativity transforms natural obstacles into lasting connections. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and activate notifications to keep exploring incredible places around the world. And tell us in the comments which country you're watching from and which bridge surprised you the most. Thank you for joining us once again. See you on the next journey.